Well, all right, all right, all right. Happy Friday, YouTube family. If you're tuning in live, we are only on YouTube today. If you've been watching me for the past couple of years, I'm almost here with 200 episodes. I'm Lois Kofi, the founder of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast, and also the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise coaching movement. I'm a sales trainer who really is here to create a community of like-minded go-givers and heart-centered people who want to live their best life. And that's a little bit of a story behind the name of my podcast. And I'm super excited today because we don't normally have health experts, wealth experts, coaches, different topics, different wisdom topics, part of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise component. But today I have a friend of mine, Lena Cebula here, who is a drug addiction and human trafficking survivor. She's written a spiritual autobiography called Miraculous. I just love that name, by the way. She was raped several times and gave birth to a child at the age of 14. And unfortunately, that child died 3 months later from health difficulties. And so now Lena goes out and shares her story, which we're going to hear about here shortly. And she's a social justice activist, a writer, a speaker, and the host of the Love BLoved Podcast, which I had the pleasure of being on last year. And I'm just so excited to have you here today, Lena, because I don't always have such powerful stories on my show, but I love being able to bring light to topics. And it's actually kind of interesting because, as you know, in the world right now, there's a lot of fear, a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty. And I just want you to share your story and bring hope to my audience today. So I'm going to move out of the way for you to share your story. And thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I really like you and like your podcast, and your guests are amazing. So it's truly an honor and privilege to be here. So, little bit about me. I was born and raised in Ukraine, and my parents struggled in their marriage, and they became an alcoholics, and they lost well-paid jobs. At our home, government turned off the electricity and hot water for outstanding bills, and we struggle in poverty trying to survive. And my home always was full of strangers, and they brought booze and drugs with parents who did not protect me. So I became an easy target for those guys. And actually, I was drugged and raped in basement of my own apartment numerous times. So when I thought things couldn't get any worse, one day I woke up with this severe abdominal pain, scared and confused, only to realize that I was in labor. So I didn't know I was pregnant, and I didn't know who her father was. So she passed away, like you said, 3 months later from health complications. And I buried her when I was 15 years old. And I start suffering with depression, anxiety, and panic attack. And I used alcohol and drugs to medicate my pain. So I turned to heroin because it was better to be high than hearing those negative self-talk and feel that I'm worthless, hopeless, abandoned, and broken. And I was so broken. So the years went by. I next like 3 years, I don't really remember pretty much anything. But one day I just have this moment of awakening that people are dying around me, and who went to jail. And I was so tired of this lifestyle. So I was looking for a change. But there is no opportunities for people like me. I was a street junkie. So when I met this lady through my mutual friend, and she was so kind to me, and she brought me to her house, offered me coffee and sweets, and I was so impressed. And it felt really wonderful and safe that somebody really cared. Um, and she offered me a job. There was no specifics, just a job. And I agree because I was so eager to escape. And her team went to work, still on heavy drugs. I barely remember I report. How I went through customs, I'll never know. One day, just woke up hearing the Muslim prayer, Allahu Akbar ran out so loud. And I realized that I actually was in a foreign country. So it took me a while to realize that this nice woman actually sold me into human trafficking. So yeah, and I ended up in Cairo, Egypt, and that's where I went through withdrawal from heroin. And it's crazy because people don't quit drugs just because they don't want it. They addiction is so um, part of like the body and lifestyle. When you try to quit heroin, half of the people just die because the body just cannot go through stress. But by the grace of God, I've survived. And from there, I actually been sold into Israel, into the brothel. So I ended up being in the brothel there for almost 2 years. And yeah, it was horrible situation, but you know what was very important, what place you end up in. And most girls who came with me, they died or went missing. But 2 years later, almost, I got the opportunity to. They set me free and allowed me to go home because from places like that, you actually never live a life unless you have been rescued. So I'm one of those like million trillion cases that actually was set free. And I wanted to start a new life. So at home, I saved up little bit money, but my trustworthy aunt stole and spent all my money. And one of my bodyguard actually stole all my possessions. So I end up I have nothing again. And I turned to what was familiar. So I became the right hand of the number one drug dealer in my city, and I was on heroin again for another 2 years. Um, and again, people were going to jail. It wasn't safe. I thought I gonna be killed or die of overdose. And I didn't know what else I can do. And I sold myself again into the human trafficking because I thought my body is commodity, and that was the opportunity to get a better life. So this time they trafficked me to Canada. But in Canada, I have an opportunity to start a new life. And with the help of my friend, I escaped the sex slavery. And here I met my wonderful husband. I give my life to Christ. I wrote my book. I have my three beautiful babies. I was a hairstylist, hair salon owner, and now I closed my business. Actually, like a year before COVID hit, I closed my hair salon and become a speaker and author and a podcast host. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you. I know you're passionate about sharing your story, so I know this wasn't your first time. I just want to acknowledge you for your resilience, and I'm sure that's
you.
how you came up with the title of your book, because you are a miracle. Because
Thank you.
I lost track of the math because it sounded like at age 14 you went through that journey, which
Yeah,
is incredibly painful. I can't even imagine.
thank
And
you.
then you went through all of these different times where you were sold. How many years was that before you finally, were safe?
I was 25, from 13 to 25. Yeah, when I actually 25 when I did drugs my last time, so I've been clean since then. Yeah.
That's incredible. Before I forget, where can people get your book? And can you unpack any tips, any wisdom? Because I know we could probably be on here for hours. But how do you give someone hope? How did you find and create hope through after having all of those years of trauma?
Absolutely. That's a good question. First of all, you can get my book on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca or through my website as well, Love and BLoved. but just Google Miraculous by Lena Cebula. And it's beautiful book with the jewelry, a picture of jewelry on it. This is my jewelry. It's actually the necklace that I wore for my wedding, pearl necklace, because God gave me this amazing sense that I'm treasure. So I'm worthy and I'm priceless and I'm precious. And that is was all about. It is my story, but it was so much hope in it because I would like to encourage rather than make people feel like sorry for myself because I don't.
Wow.
Everything happened for a reason. It's sometimes it's hard to understand when you're still in the trouble, but honestly, guys, where you are, there is a reason and there is hope. What I would like to share with you through time of the therapy and counseling and different support that I took over the last 15 years. This is number one. I do believe for me, you need to create that support system. You are not alone. Find
Mm,
accountability partner, one person from like family, friends, your church. Have weekly call when somebody just ask you specifically, encourage you, how you doing, how you feeling today, and someone that you trust, that you actually can share your pain and unload your burden on someone, and they can love on you, encourage you, follow up on you, and it's gonna set the sense that somebody cares, and it's very important. For me, the second one was my faith in God and truth about my identity. Because before I had my faith, I believed that I'm worthless. I believed that I'm abandoned and broken.
mm,
And then my self talk started changing into I am significant and
mm,
my life is valuable.
mm,
And it's very important that you have grace and compassion for yourself. You don't have a due date on healing. Just take your time and just take care of yourself. Positive affirmations, our words can either speak life or can speak death. Our
mm,
tongues can build us up or can tear us down. So you have to
mm,
create those positive self-talk and repeat this affirmation until you believe it's true, because it's gonna take some time to actually develop this habit and develop that belief that what you're saying is true. um, Another one, write a journal. For me, it was my book, but you don't have to write the book, as long as you start writing, because I do believe when we are survivors um, or victims, or we still like in the trouble, we have no voice because the shame not allowed us to speak out. So then write, just write so it's come out from your body, mind, and soul. And then
mm,
you actually have an opportunity to take that journal and give it to someone you trust, asking for help. Because
mm.
sometimes it's very hard to tell someone, and this is might help you to just start that conversation. So that would work for me, and I believe it can help you as well.
That's amazing because I want to acknowledge you because I'm a magnetic mind sales coach, and what the new thing that people don't maybe know fully is when they hear me talk about the magnetic mind is it's different from like the Think and Grow Rich philosophies, but it's still rooted in having that belief about yourself and recognizing that you're not broken. Like you said, you are perfect, whole, and complete exactly as you are. And but being able to get to that and to own that, it takes daily habits. And you gave, I love what you said, healing doesn't have a deadline, right? I think at least
Absolutely.
in America, right? We all have 8-minute abs. I remember the workout video in the 80s. There's like buns of steel, 8 minutes a day. Everyone here in America, at least, is looking for instant transformation or instant change. But even in the list of things that you gave, it does take time. So do you remember like how much time a day as you were going through your healing process that you worked on the healing components, the list that you gave? Do you remember like how much time you invested into that so you could flip the script on where you were at as a quote unquote victim survivor into being, this miracle?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you said that about how we creating those lists and all this stuff. For me, sometimes I wrote for 3 hours a day. Sometimes I stop writing for 2 months. Honestly, and that's why I do believe it's so personal. I don't have the thing how much time I invested in a day, but I know for sure it's been 16 years. And
Mm,
oh my goodness, I literally have a goosebumps. And guys, I want you to hear this. I quit the drugs 16 years ago, and since then, I took any possible opportunity to learn and grow. I hired the coaches, health coaches, wellness coaches. I was looking into my body, my spirit, my
mm,
soul, my mind, and I
mm,
always like learn and grow. But only last fall, I kid you not, I hit 41-year-old in October, and there, like somewhere in November, I felt it like, oh my goodness, I feel good. I actually feel good. It doesn't matter, it's not gonna be happening anymore, but I have this awareness. Like if excuse me, when I get sad, I'm thinking like, what excuse me, what am I saying to myself?
mm,
Why do I feel this way? Why I like so I create this like huge awareness about my behavior, my self-talk, and I'm
mhm,
just kind of finally becoming like observer rather than going with my negative self-talk and put myself deep into depression, anxiety, panic attack. Look, guys, I'm
mm,
from Ukraine. The hell that got loose right now put me like for whole day into like a panic attack because I was talking to my family. I had
mm,
so much fear about this war. I have so much sadness. I have this grief on my shoulders. So I literally run into my bed, climb under the blanket, cover myself, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. That's it. My living is gonna be here because that's how my depression begins. I start marinating in like bad thoughts that out of my control. This war out of my control. All
right.
I can do is be actually cool, calm, and collected for my family and for my friends to support them. But if I fall apart, like who I gonna support? No one. And plus, not
Mm,
me either. So I literally opened the blanket, like I jump out from the bed and I said to myself, I'm gonna go through day. I'm not gonna be like panicking and anxiety. I'm not gonna let it down. And but that's what the awareness create because I
mm,
saw what I'm doing and I knew where I gonna end up in a week, thinking like, okay, this is gonna be bad. So I had an opportunity to stop it. And you know what? Listen, I'm not talking about clinical depression or anything like medical, because that one you have to take or do whatever you have to do to get yourself out of bed. Doesn't matter if it's medication, doesn't matter if it's essential oil, exercise, whatever it's work for you. I'm just talking about myself and how I see me talking to myself, being afraid of what's going on in the world actually can put my mind, body, and soul into depression. I can do that to myself through negative self talk.
100%. I think it's really amazing divine timing that I even forgot that you were from the Ukraine, to be honest with you. And we've been talking now for months to get you on the show. And here we are. And I want to say that, your experiences that you had before actually helped you develop emotional intelligence to be able to be that third party observer. I like to say kind of like a witness to your own thoughts, because we get into that subconscious hamster wheel where and I've did it. I was just telling you before we got on the show today, I've had some post COVID symptoms that were starting to freak me out. but even just listening to you, I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's right. I can choose to be freaked out about it and then not be any good for anyone. Or I could choose to be observer and go, yeah, well, what's in my control? What can I control now? Which is my thoughts. And of course, what's going on inside of my heart, and how can I be of service to other people instead of, getting stuck in that rut of self-sabotage thinking. So that's great advice. I love that. And I would just want to remind people today we're doing a little bit of a different topic. And I think that the timing of it is, again, divine. If you feel like you're seeing value in this, please share this with your community, because there are a lot of people on Facebook, on social media that are, and I even feel it. And I'm not from the Ukraine, right? I feel that energy that's floating around and the fear. So maybe is there anything else that you haven't shared when you look back on your journey and having family in the midst of that right now? Is there anything else that you can recommend for people to come back to center, to maybe keep their focus away from the fear?
Absolutely. I do. I coming back still like to the positivity, and I'm trying to hold on to the fact that my family is okay, and I'm so sorry for all these families who are actually living right in the war zone, because we are 5 hours away from it. But I noticed through the time when I speak with people who connected with me or come up to me in church, I saw one difference. The people who reading nonstop media, social media about this war, who trying to dig deep and trying to understand, like, and actually being more involved than observer, and that's what freaking the people out, because in the grand scheme of thing, we actually don't know. It's like all about like politics, corruption. It's so many layers there. And what I keep thinking and praying, because honestly, like in the first day, I kid you not, guys, I thought like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I have like anxiety. My heart like was in pain. My shoulders was like, I was so tense after a conversation with my sister, and then scrolling and seeing the bombs, and like watching the city that I walked through. Like, I I do believe I'm Canadian, but my heart is there. So is my family and my friends. And I see this, and it's hitting like home. And I realize more and more I try to like understand this with analytical mind. I'm going deeper and deeper into conclusion that I'm not in control, and that hopelessness and helplessness actually make me feel even worse, like that I cannot just snap my finger and stop everything and protect everything and help everyone and heal everyone. So I had to it was very interesting when people come into me with a different mindset and say, you know what, we'll do anything to support you, your family, your friends, tell me what to do and stuff like that. So it feels calmness still, but there was people who literally was hanging on me like with the stress, anxiety, and panic. And I'm like, God, please take care of me, because I just come out from it. I don't want this. I understand that people feeling this, but I have to stay calm and try to like calm them, because this is doesn't serve us in this moment. It is fear, it is panic, but we can fight that fear and panic, so we can do something about it. Then you can participate, you can donate, you can volunteer for Red Cross, like you can do so many different things. But if you're not okay with your body, mind, and soul, and you just in fear, it's literally like killing you inside, like anxiety and stuff, and it's not gonna serve anyone, and especially not you. So that's my opinion, I think.
That's so powerful. And there's a book I've actually mentioned on my podcast before. There's only one true addiction that the society is addicted to, and it's fear, which is the opposite of love. And I love that your podcast is called Love and Be Loved, right? I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
how did you come up? We'll kind of start wrapping up here. How did you come up with that name? I love it.
Yeah, it's from my book, because through all of this book, when I was writing my manuscript, every time I thought about why this is happening to me, why this is happening to me, and all the time I have these thoughts, because I want to be, I want to love and I want to be loved since like my
Mm,
parents. And that's what I was thinking. You know what? All of us, all we want is to love and to be loved, and that's how it started. And when I launched my podcast, I keep saying this phrase, love and be loved, and that's how it started. And I love it, because I do believe we all deserve and love and to be loved, and that's what I feel now too.
I love that. And it reminds me of some of the basic principles of life. Again, today we're having a very special guest in light of these times. Lena Cebula sharing her story, and but past and even today, as someone who has family and friends in the Ukraine, it goes to show you guys that we're all here. It's not all about the money. It's not all about success. We are really here at the core of our souls to love and be loved. So I really am so grateful for you being here today. I have one more question to close out the show. I do want to remind my audience, my guests who do tune in regularly, thank you so much for your support. Next week, I do have a masterclass on March 10th. If you are someone out there who is maybe struggling with your lead generation, your time management, how to be focused with your mindset every day, going out there being of service to humanity through your vocation, please sign up for this 90-minute masterclass. I don't do them very often. And in fact, this is my first one of the year. And if you're really looking to kick off the next quarter of 2022 with a strong, solid plan and daily income producing activities, but also kind of like what we've been talking about today is just that daily mindset of how to take care of your mind, body, and spirit. And a lot of people, when they're in sales, they don't focus on the little things that maybe don't seem to add up, but can make a huge difference to the success of how you show up in the world, how you serve, how you sell, and how you work with your clients, and of course with your family, because all of that is important to me here as part of my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise show. So I'll put the sign up link for my masterclass, guys, in the show notes. And even if you're listening to this months later, you can still sign up on that same link and get the recording. All right. So I always love to close out my show, Lena, with the same question that I ask everyone. And I just wanted to get your take when you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise. What does that mean to you?
That's so cool question, because I was reading and I was thinking, oh, that's me. I hope one day that's what I'm gonna be, because like that's where I'm going through beginning of my healthy journey. That's what I'm trying to build, because without our health, we cannot do anything. The wealth, absolutely. I want it, I need it, because I want to serve the world. I want to support the charities that I support, and they are fantastic people on the ground that I love to write like checks with lots of zeros. So I want to work, I want to build for that means, and wise, absolutely. I would love to have a wisdom, because that's a very essential to make those decisions, and to impact like new generation and just people around me as well too. But I do believe, like, for me, my faith, it's very important, and that's where I draw and my worth and value and my wisdom. And I do believe that it's very important, all three of them, and yeah, I really like how it's even written, because this is formula and for success, and to take care of yourself and people around you. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being, again, a rare gift today for our audience in light of everything happening in the world. And guys, if you're tuning in, please hit the share button. Share this with your friends who are really struggling right now. And there's possible lots of reasons we talked about with Lena's story. But if you can get her book, go to Amazon.com. I'll be putting more links in the show notes as well to reach out to her. But take her advice today, guys. When in doubt, reach out, find that support system, journal. There was a lot of golden nuggets today that, even though we maybe didn't talk specifics on business stuff, the most important things, the values and what I truly believe in that are the most important things in life, we cover today. So please share this. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'll be doing a monologue episode, and on March 17th, I have a special guest. It's a copywriting guru. And then at the end of the month, I'm bringing in my own very somatic therapist who's helped me release a lot of trauma, who's helped me return to love in my heart and in my body. And it's just really powerful messages. So looking forward to having you guys in the future episodes. Thank you, Lena, for being here today. Appreciate you.
So much.
Until next time, guys, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye-bye for now.